For centuries, respected map makers charted islands that were never there. Some vanished quietly, and one turns out not to have been a mistake at all. 6 phantom islands, 6 different reasons they survived on maps, ranked from simple error to deliberate fabrication. We are counting them down, starting with an island named after the very ship whose crew swore they'd seen it. In the 6th place, Bass Island entered navigational history in September 1578. Sailors aboard the Emmanuel, a vessel frequently called a basse, reported a substantial landmass while returning from Martin Frobisher's 3rd Arctic expedition. The report came from a passenger, Thomas Weers, who recorded the sighting as the vessel sailed homeward. The crew observed this apparent territory in the icy, late summer waters of the North Atlantic. Mapmakers quickly adopted the report, charting the new island at roughly 57 degrees north, positioned between Ireland and the legendary Frisland. For over 2 centuries, this phantom persisted on respected marine charts. The initial report likely stemmed from a natural optical illusion rather than true landfall. In cold polar seas, temperature inversions regularly create superior mirages, refracting light to project distant ice fields or distorted horizons as solid towering landmasses. Navigators lacking modern atmospheric physics simply charted what they saw. By the 19th century, systematic British hydrographic surveys confirmed the open ocean, officially removing the island and ending its long cartographic afterlife. In the 5th place, Antillia, often called the Island of the Seven Cities, became the phantom land explorers desperately wanted to find. First charted on João Pizzigano's 1424 map, this rectangular territory was drawn west of Portugal, functioning as a practical stepping stone for those seeking the riches of Asia. Cartographers kept the island on Atlantic charts for over a century, sustained by folklore of Spanish bishops fleeing Moorish invasions to build wealthy sanctuaries. Christopher Columbus planned his westward route around these exact coordinates, fully expecting to land there. Yet, as Spanish and Portuguese sailors mapped the Atlantic with systematic precision after 1492, the open ocean refused to yield the island. With each successive voyage failing to locate the harbor, mapmakers slowly withdrew the legendary territory from their plates, replacing myth with measured reality. In the 4th place, Maida represents a geographical ghost defined by its continual movement, while other phantom lands remained anchored to a single set of mistaken coordinates. This legendary island slowly drifted across the Atlantic Ocean over the course of 5 centuries. First recorded on the Pizzigani brothers' 1367 Portoland chart as a crescent-shaped landmass named Brazir, it was originally positioned southwest of Ireland, not far from the Breton coast. By 1375, the Catalan atlas labeled the shape Mam, keeping it within the same European latitudes. Yet as navigators explored further and maps grew more precise, cartographers did not delete the phantom. Instead, they nudged it westward to keep it in unexplored waters. By the 16th century, the maps of Gerardus Mercator and Abraham Ortelius pushed the island, now labeled Vlaanderen or Maida, further into the open sea near the Azores. By the 19th century, commercial charts plotted the stubborn crescent near 50 degrees west, placing it closer to the Americas than to its European origin. This slow cartographic migration ended only in 1909, when a British Admiralty chart officially omitted the long-lived phantom. Maida survived for generations, not through any genuine sighting, but through the simple inertia of map makers who copied older plates and quietly shifted their errors westward to preserve the illusion of a complete world. In the 3rd place, Frisland appeared in the cartographic record in 1558 when Venetian publisher Francesco Marcolini printed a map attributed to the Zeno brothers. The document depicted a large detailed landmass south of Iceland, complete with named settlements and a jagged coastline. Although modern analysis identifies this map as a literary invention Rather than a genuine navigational record, its impact on geography was immense. The Phantom Island gained widespread acceptance when Gerardus Mercator incorporated it into his 1569 world map, followed closely by Abraham Ortelius in his 1570 atlas. Because subsequent mapmakers routinely copied these authoritative plates, Frisland remained anchored on North Atlantic charts for over a century. Scholars now believe the island was actually a distorted duplication of Iceland itself, born from misread coordinates and transcription errors. This case shows how a single, highly respected source can codify an error, allowing a non-existent territory to persist simply because cartographers trusted established plates over the empty ocean. Only during the late 17th century did systematic exploration prompt cartographers to purge the phantom from new atlases, replacing the fabricated Venetian domain with open water. In second place, Hy-Brasil combines ancient Celtic folklore with an extraordinary era of cartographic longevity. This legendary phantom land first appeared on a Portolan chart in 1325 under the name Brasil, positioned in the Atlantic Ocean directly to the west of Ireland. For generations, its identity remained tightly bound to Irish myths of a misty, otherworldly sanctuary that supposedly became visible to human eyes only once every 7 years. This cyclical legend captured the imagination of seafaring communities. Yet the island's presence on physical maps proved far more permanent than its mythical 7-year visibility cycle would suggest. It persisted on European marine charts for nearly 5.5 centuries. During this long cartographic lifespan, the island was subjected to various layers of literary embellishment, most notably in 1674, when the satirist Richard Haight published a highly detailed but entirely fictional narrative of an Irish captain landing on its shores. While subsequent antiquarians mistook this satirical tale for genuine eyewitness testimony, the island's true durability lay in the unhurried replication practices of early modern map-making. Cartographers routinely copied older plates without independent verification, transforming a localized maritime legend into an accepted geodetic feature. It was not until 1873, during a systematic campaign by the British Admiralty to purge unverified obstructions from official charts, that Hy-Brasil was officially erased from the map. This 500-year survival shows the remarkable power of folklore to harden into official geographical convention, remaining anchored in the minds of seafarers long after empirical voyages found only open water. And finally, in first place, Crocker Land represents a transition from navigational mishap to calculated invention. In 1906, American explorer Robert Peary claimed to have spotted a massive mountainous landmass rising from the frozen Arctic Ocean. He named this promising new territory after George Crocker, one of the wealthiest financial backers of the Peary Arctic Club. It was a grand gesture of gratitude, though it suffered from one significant flaw: the island did not exist. Unlike the genuine mirages or cumulative copying errors that kept other phantom islands on maps for centuries, Crocker Land appears to have been born of financial necessity. Peary needed to justify his costly expeditions and secure funding for future polar voyages, and nothing attracted wealthy patrons quite like the promise of discovering new territory. His claim succeeded in sparking immense interest, leading to the dedicated Crocker Land expedition from 1913 to 1917 led by Donald Macmillan. Macmillan and his crew traveled to the exact coordinates Peary had recorded, only to find themselves standing on a vast expanse of open sea and shifting pack ice. Historians who have analyzed Peary's personal diaries noticed a telling detail. On the day he allegedly sighted this vast new country, his journal entries made absolutely no mention of any such discovery. The mountain range only materialized later, once the expedition had returned to civilization and the search for fresh capital began. While other phantom islands survived because of primitive navigational tools or innocent misidentifications, This Arctic mirage was sustained by the absolute authority of a celebrated explorer. Crocker Land was ultimately erased from official charts, leaving behind a sobering lesson about the intersection of cartography, ambition, and funding. It forces us to ask exactly where an honest observational mistake ends and a deliberate deception begins. Subscribe for more historical investigations into the maps and mysteries of the past. Across these 6 phantoms, one truth emerges. Maps project our errors and ambitions just as much as geography. They prove that printed ink often holds more authority than physical reality. Though our charts are now clear, the human impulse to invent the unknown remains. Subscribe for more cartographic history.